Congressman, Dr. Anthony Fauci has agreed to testify before the House Republicans. This is a first, I believe. I presume you're going to press him on the origins of COVID and his connection to the Wuhan lab. You believe that the origins of COVID are in that lab and that Fauci does have a connection. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, because I think anyone with common sense now believes that. I think Fauci knew that right from the get-go. He gets an email at the end of January 2020 which says virus looks engineered, virus not consistent with evolutionary theory. He gets that email and he instantly goes into cover-up mode, organizes a conference call the next day where the story changes, even that person who's sending the email. So I think he knew from the get-go. And never forget, Stuart, everything the government told us, this is how it ties into this censorship issue. Almost everything the government told us about COVID and Americans were questioning, everything government told us turned out to be wrong. They said it didn't come from a lab. Sure looks like it did. They said it wasn't our tax money. Yes, it was. They said it wasn't gain-of-function research being done at that lab. Yes, it was. They said the vaccinated couldn't get it. They said the vaccinated couldn't transmit it. They told us masks actually worked. So there are 6 things the government told us that turned out not to be true. And if you question that online, this same administration, the Biden administration, said, oh, we're going to try to censor that speech. True statements, accurate statements, they tried to censor. So that's how bad this whole thing was.
You can get to the truth of what happened in the past, but you can only use that truth to make a change as to what happens in the future. No more censorship. That's really where you're going with this, isn't it?
Yeah, because, again, it's called the First Amendment. And I would argue it's the most important right we have. 5 liberties on the First Amendment. Your right to practice your faith, your right to assemble, right to petition your government, free press, free speech. The most important is speech, because you can't practice your faith if you can't talk. You can't share your faith if you can't talk. You can't petition your government if you can't talk. That is fundamental, and that's what they went after, and that's what's so scary.
Right now, I believe you're discussing the formal impeachment of President Biden. I take it you are for an impeachment move, correct?
We want to formalize with the House vote the impeachment inquiry phase of our oversight duty. This is a sacred duty. This is a constitutional duty. We think we need that because there are key people we want to talk to that we think they're going to, the White House and the Biden administration and some of these witnesses are going to challenge us in court. It's not necessary in the Constitution, but it sure helps when you go into court to say the House of Representatives has had a formal vote and a majority of the House approved an impeachment inquiry. We want you to come sit for this deposition, and we want these particular documents that we've subpoenaed. That's the beauty of why you go to this step. I hope it happens early, hopefully as soon as next week. We'll just have to see.
Here's what I'm hearing from some people. The Democrats are not trying to put Trump in court in the middle of an election season. You are trying to impeach Biden in the middle of an election season, like a tit-for-tat kind of thing. What do you say?
That has nothing to do with this. Is driven by the facts and the compelling facts we already have. This is one of the most, as the Speaker said, this is one of those important powers the House of Representatives has the impeachment power. It should be fact-driven. It should be done according to the law and the Constitution. That's how we're operating. But I will tell you this, the facts we've uncovered right now I think are pretty darn compelling, particularly how Hunter Biden and Joe Biden interacted with this Ukrainian energy company and what Joe Biden did with our tax dollars when he fired the guy, leveraged our tax money, the people I represent, their tax money, to get the prosecutor fired who was looking into the executive who ran Burisma, the very company Hunter Biden sat on the board. And Joe Biden did that at the request of his son. At least that's what it sure looks like, based on the testimony we've already received.
Jim, I don't know how you keep it all straight. I tend to get somewhat confused with names, places, who did what and who said what, but you got it all down. Jim Jordan, a pleasure. Thanks for being with us. Have a great weekend, sir.
You bet. Thanks, Stuart. Take care.